The auction floor smelled of metal and desperation. A haze of incense curled above cages lined with every imaginable creature. Feathers, scales, horns, wings. And near the end, in a crate too small even for a house cat, knelt something different. She had skin the color of tarnished silver, her hair a cascade of starlight, strands tangled with grime. Slender hands clutched iron bars, as though they were the only thing keeping her tethered to life. When the auctioneer struck the crate with his rod, she flinched, revealing sharp, frightened eyes. Eyes far too intelligent for an animal. Lot 302, barked the auctioneer. A rare Mirakai female, barely grown. Decorative, quiet, low maintenance. Bidding starts at 400 credits. The crowd barely shifted. A few aliens snorted. Decorative? The creature's clothes were tattered scraps, and her silver skin was marred with bruises. Still, her eyes never lost that burning defiance. At the back of the hall stood Michael Brandt, a human trader whose boots had seen more worlds than most ever would. His gaze settled on the girl, and something twisted in his chest. She was shaking, but not from fear alone. There was rage there, coiled tight like a serpent. 200, someone offered lazily. 300, another jeered, more for sport than interest. Michael stepped forward. 800. The hall fell silent. Even the auctioneer paused, blinking in disbelief. Michael's voice had cut through the noise like steel. Sold. The auctioneer barked, eager to move on. The crate was rolled toward Michael. He knelt, meeting those molten eyes. "I'm Michael," he said softly, unlocking the crate. "You're free now." She didn't move. The girl's lips parted, voice barely a whisper. "Free?" Michael nodded, offering a hand. "Let's get you out of here." On board his freighter Halcyon, the girl refused to speak. She curled into a corner of the small med bay, wary as a cornered animal. Michael worked in silence, bringing food and water, never forcing her. When she finally spoke, it was a question. "Why?" Her voice was melodic yet brittle, like glass about to crack. "Why buy me?" "Because they didn't see what I saw," he answered, adjusting a small medical scanner. "They saw a pet. I saw a queen." She flinched. "Queen? No, I was nothing. My people, they lost the war. I was taken, branded." Her hand moved to a small mark burned into her shoulder, a cruel spiral. Michael's jaw tightened. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Elira." "Elira," he repeated gently, tasting the name like a vow. "I don't know what you were before, but you're not a pet. And you're not nothing." She turned her gaze away, but not before he saw tears trembling on her lashes. Days turned to weeks. Elira regained strength. Her thin frame hid wiry muscles, and her mind proved quick and curious. She learned basic controls of the ship, fascinated by the navigation screens and blinking panels. One evening, Michael found her staring through the viewport, silver hair glowing in the light of a dying star. "I dreamed of this," she whispered. "Freedom. Stars without masters." "You have it now," Michael said softly. "But what do I do with it?" she asked, voice trembling. "You decide who you want to be," he replied. "No one else gets to choose." Elira turned to him, and for the first time, her lips curved into the smallest of smiles. They grew close. Conversations deepened beyond logistics and repairs, into stories of lost homes, hidden scars, and old regrets. Michael shared tales of earth, of forests and rain. Elira spoke of Mirakai temples carved into living crystal, of songs sung to the void. One night, as a meteor shower streaked across the black, she confessed, "They crowned me once. Briefly. My mother was queen. When she fell, they took me. To them, I was only leverage, then worthless, sold as a novelty." Michael's chest ached. They were wrong. That crown wasn't what made you a queen. What was, she asked. Your spirit, he said simply. Unbroken, even in chains. Her eyes glistened. You see too much, human. Not enough, he whispered. Never enough. But freedom is never so easily won. Docked on a border station for supplies, Michael left Elira aboard, warning her to stay hidden. He returned to find strangers prowling the ship, a trio of scarred bounty hunters. We heard you bought yourself royal contraband, the leader snarled. Mirakai bounty's still good. We'll take her off your hands. Michael stood his ground. She's under my protection. They laughed. A pet? You can't protect her from a guild. A voice cut through the tension, sharp as starfire. He doesn't have to. Elira stepped into view, chin high, silver hair falling like a banner. For the first time, Michael saw not the frightened girl, but the queen reborn. The hunters hesitated. In that moment, her presence was undeniable, magnetic, terrifying. Leave, she commanded, voice low but edged with something ancient, regal. One hunter faltered. The leader recovered first, lunging forward, only to find Michael's blaster at his throat. I won't ask twice, Michael said. They retreated, muttering curses. Silence fell. Elira trembled afterward, but Michael caught her before she could fall. You were magnificent, he murmured. I was terrified. She confessed into his chest. That's courage, he said, doing what's right, even when afraid. They departed the station, hearts pounding. Alone again among the stars, truth finally broke through the silence. Why do you risk so much for me? She asked. Because the universe doesn't need more cages, Michael said. It needs queens willing to stand, and someone to stand beside them. She lifted a hand to his face, fingertips gentle against his stubble. And what do you want, Michael Brandt? To see you free, he whispered. Truly free. And after? Her voice wavered. He swallowed. To be there, if you'll have me. She searched his gaze, human, scarred, imperfect. Slowly, as if discovering her own strength, she nodded. They charted a new course, not to hide, but to rally. Michael reached out to scattered Mirakai refugees, and word spread. The lost princess lived. Elira stood before them, voice trembling at first, then rising strong and clear. She spoke of unity, hope, and the fire that could not be extinguished. Michael watched from the crowd, pride burning in his chest. When her speech ended, their eyes met across the room, hers still shining with uncertainty, his steady with faith. That night, on the Halcyon's quiet deck, she spoke softly. I was sold as a pet. You call me a queen. You always were, he said, stepping closer. And you? She asked, breath-catching. I'm just a man who saw the truth, Michael whispered. Her fingers traced his hand, hesitant, then sure. Then stay, beside your queen. I wouldn't be anywhere else, he promised. Stars wheeled overhead, and the ship drifted forward, carrying two souls once broken by the galaxy, now bound together by choice, by hope, and by the quiet, stubborn belief that no one is born to be caged. And in that moment, a queen rose from the ashes, and the man who freed her stood by her side, ready to help her reclaim the stars.